Confront your dark side, the law of repression. And this is something I often talk about on this channel, but I'll go into more detail now. And it is so important to understand the characteristics that we sacrifice to be part of society, because when you understand that every single person forfeits a part of themselves to be accepted, then you understand that, like, when we're angry, when we're upset, and we lash out, certain things we say, certain actions we do, like, this is our dark side being manifested. And this is what Carl Jung says and Nietzsche says when they say, like, you must confront your shadow. Your shadow is the parts of yourselves that you sacrifice to be part of the group, to be part of, the corporate society. So you stop saying those offensive jokes, you stop being yourself, you stop laughing, you stop doing all of these things that make you you. And when we suppress these things, they come out in ways that we can't control them. And when we can't control them, this is when, you lash out at your friend because they said something that you don't like. This is, the way that you insult people, the way you relate to others, how you are in a relationship, these certain things. And it's really important to understand these principles, because these principles basically control your interactions with others. And if we don't start addressing our shadow, then we will never be able to be in control of ourselves, because it's one thing to be in control when the circumstances are in your favor, but it's another to be in control when something bad happens. How do you react when bad news happens? How do you react when, somebody cuts you off and, they almost cause an accident? Like, do you flip them off? Do you yell at them? Do you call them horrendous words? Like, how are you reacting in these circumstances? And this is what it means to control your shadow. Control the things about yourself that you don't like. And it's not necessarily that you have to stop being angry, you have to stop lashing out, you have to stop doing these things, but you need to find a way to embrace your shadow traits. Like, for me, my shadow traits are, like, I am deep down very emotional, but it's really hard for me to open up to people. It's really hard for me to, be present and conscious. And, if I give someone a compliment, I immediately have to make fun of them in the next sentence. So, like, what are ways that I can start embracing my shadow? What are ways I can start being more friendly, being more open, being more emotional? And something that I've really found very helpful for me is, like, if I see a stranger when I'm on a walk, if I'm checking out at a cash register, like, I'll literally just be nice to the person that I don't know, because this person has no perception of me. This person doesn't know who I really am and doesn't know anything else about me. So, like, I just want to show that, like, I'm a good person, that I'm a caring person. And simply waving to these people, saying, have a nice day, doing these things, like, I feel like it's really gone a long way to me opening up and me being more polite and having more manners with the people that, like, really know me and that I really should be more nice to. And it's something I'm trying to actively add into my life, because I feel like I have a control of my mind. I have a control of, the things I'm doing in my life. Like, pretty soon I'll be sorted financially, and, like, the last frontier for me to confront is the emotions, because physically I look great. I can walk into any room. I'm confident. I have a physical presence about me. I can communicate with anybody. I can, do whatever I want. But like, when it comes time, like, my emotions, they will come out, and it always gets the better of me. It always controls the relationships, because at a certain point, like, my emotions are going to spark, and when my emotions spark, it's hard for me to refrain from insulting the person. It's hard for me to refrain from burning bridges. And these emotions that I never let out to the surface, they manifest and they come out in a violent, vulgar way. And it's like, I'll always say something that I don't necessarily mean, but it comes out in the moment, and it's too hard for me to build up relationships after this happens. And just being aware of this conscious fact has gone a long way to helping me, try to actively be emotional, be present, allow these things to fester to the surface and not just push them down. Because if we don't allow our emotions to affect us, if we don't allow our emotions to be conscious, they will come out in unconscious ways. And for me, it really comes out in the way of me in an argument. I'll say something and I'll never speak to that person again because I offended them so bad. So what I want you to understand is, like, your shadow is something that if you don't confront, it will always own you. It will forever be in charge of your life in these moments of anger and these moments of sadness and these moments of pain, and you need to be aware of these things. And especially for, I feel like, men at least, like, let your emotions be shown. Like, it's okay to tell your friend how much they mean to you. It's okay to tell people that have just barely been in your life, like, hey, like, I really enjoyed this conversation, like, you're a great person, and like, I really like would like to have you in my life, like, you seem like a great person and a great influence on me. Like, don't be afraid to share your emotions, because when we refuse to share our emotions, they sit down and they turn into negative traits. And that's what it is. Like, the whole secret about the shadow is the shadow isn't bad unless you don't give it attention. If you don't give your shadow attention, if you just let it stay in the shadow, it will come out only when you lose control of your mind, only when your emotions get the better of you, only when these circumstances around you are out of your control. And this is when your shadow will manifest itself in the most horrendous comment that you're going to make to that person that, you know, won't be able to be taken back. So it's an interesting concept. I want you to start playing around with it. Start understanding, like, how do I react in moments of anguish? How do I react in moments of anger? How am I dealing with certain situations? And when you start to be conscious of these things, then you can start to apply your shadow. You can start to find ways to, for me, show your emotions. For you, maybe it's you want to be more communicative. I'm gonna end this video because I'm not making any sense. I gotta eat something. But thank you so much for making this far. I'll leave a link in the description to this book. If you didn't notice, I got a ring light, and I think it really helped with the lighting. But yeah, thank you for whoever was bullying me about the lighting, and thank you also for the people making jokes in the comments about how I'm in prison and how the wall behind me makes it look like I'm in prison. It's honestly so funny to see those comments. But yeah, thank you so much for making this far. I will catch you next one. Check out the link to the book in the description if you want to get more.